Hi everyone, this is my first YouTube video. I'm going to be doing a pretty basic eyeshadow look today using the Carly by Belle Deluxe Edition palette. I bought this last year in the fall at some point, and it's a great palette for beginners. It comes with this row of like brown tones, and then your mauvey tones, and then your purpley pinky tones right up here, and then you also have two great highlighters right here, and then you have some more highlighters and bronzers down here. So I generally start off with just moisturizing my face, so I just put on my Vanny Cream Skin Moisturizer, which comes in this. I have pretty sensitive skin, so I generally don't like mess around with moisturizers and things like that. I've been using that for like about 3 months now, and it works pretty well, so I just kind of stick with that. I don't use a primer, so I'm not going to use a primer right now. I just don't really know like what they do for the skin. I've never really used a primer that has, you know, kept on my makeup for so long that I really feel the necessity of putting it into my makeup routine. So I already wet my beauty blender, and the best way to know if your beauty blender is completely wet is if it doubles in size from when it was dry. Use a orange like color corrector, because as you can see I have hyperpigmentation underneath and on my eyelids, and then also like a little bit like around my face right here. So I'm just going to take a little bit of orange on top of my eyelids right now and just put that on there and blend it away with my beauty blender, just so I have like more of a one-tone color on the top of my eyelids before I go in with my eyeshadow. My Tarte Shape Tape concealer in the shade Tan, to just conceal the top of my eyelids, and then I'll set those in a second. So once I conceal the top of my eyelids, I'm just going to set it with a setting powder really quickly, just so the concealer does not crease. So I'm going to take this Naked Cosmetics Banana HD Finishing Powder, which I got in my Ipsy bag. If you're new to makeup and you're like trying to grow your collection, I would recommend once a month. I really enjoy them personally. I have like tried out some pretty new great products through them. And it's only $10 a month, and you get 5 sample size products, so it's pretty good. Right now I'm just setting shadow look, so I'm going to take this shade right here in the palette. Hope you guys can see that. And I'm just using a Wet n Wild brush. I think it's a crease brush. And I'm just going to put this along my crease right here, just for a nice like neutral transition shade so we can start off our eyeshadow. If you want to build up the color, you can. I'm just taking another coat of it into the crease. I don't really like have a plan for this look. I'm just trying to do like a very basic like brown toned look. So now we're going to take this color right here, this one, and we're just going to dust that all along the eyelid and into the crease as well, using the same brush. Do the same thing for the other eye. Alright, so now we have like a pretty good brown base going. So now we're just going to take this dark brown color on a different brush. Real Techniques blending and smudging brush. It's a two-ended brush. I got this in a set with another Real Techniques brush, and you know, Real Techniques brushes are really great quality, and they blend really well, so I like to use them personally. So now I'm going to take this brown, the dark brown in the palette, and just take it on the blending side of this brush and just put it on the outer V, just start patting it along and pull it up into my crease a little bit as well. We're just trying to add like a little bit of dimension to the eye. Don't worry about fallout and things like that, because I intentionally don't do my concealer or my foundation or anything until after the eyeshadow look, because we can just wipe away all of this with a cotton swab or with a makeup remover wipe. Okay, so that looks similar on both sides. They both look the same amount of darkness. Now we're just going to take a shimmery shade and put it along the center of the eyelids right here, and then we're going to blend all the colors together. So we're just going to take this like nice golden color right here, and now I'm using the smudging side of this brush, and we're just going to pat it on nicely to the center areas. Now that we have the color on pretty well and we know what colors we want to work with, I'm just going to take that original Wet n Wild brush that we took the crease color on, and I'm just going to blend away any harsh edges that we have going on between the crease and the sparkly color, the gold, and the brown. We're going to try and pat on a little bit more gold onto the center of the eyelid, just like this, just so we can have a little bit more bling and sparkle. And just really quickly, we're just going to just buff out the top edges so there are no harsh lines apart. And then we're also going to wipe underneath the eye like this, and we're creating kind of like a winged effect at the end. I generally have like fairly cat eye looking eyeshadow, so I just intentionally wipe it away to make a triangle at the end. It just works for me. If you don't like that, then you can wipe in whatever direction you want. Sometimes people just like to like really clean up down here and are okay with the rest of the fallout. I'm not like that. Now that we're pretty much done with the eyes and we're satisfied with how they look, we're going to take our orange shade again to color correct underneath our eyes right here, and a little bit just around the mouth. Blend it out with our beauty blender. Right here the darkness is still peeking through, so I'm just adding a little bit at the bottom parts of the under eye circles, just so you know we can have enough coverage. Once again, I'm taking my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in Tan and just drawing like a few lines like this underneath, and putting a few dots on my chin and around my mouth to conceal the darkness. So never sweep your beauty blender, always go in a tapping motion, as I'm doing right here. So I'm just tapping away the concealer and covering up the orange and bringing it a little bit onto above my eyebrow, just so the color is even. Rubbing it away on my chin and above my mouth. I like a pretty highlighted under eye, so I generally put more concealer than other people. I also like a very full coverage concealer just because I do have under eye circles and hyperpigmentation around my mouth, and I like to cover those up. Now that we're satisfied with the coverage, my Sephora foundation, 10 Hour Wear Perfection foundation in medium. I don't really care for a high coverage foundation as I do my concealer, just because I generally don't have much to cover up on my face area, so I don't really use a heavy duty foundation ever. If anything, I'll go in with 2 coats of foundation instead of 1. Let's just say I want more of a coverage. Just taking it on my damp beauty blender and bouncing around my face until all the product is blended into the skin. Taking it over my chin a little bit and underneath the bottom parts of where we put the concealer to make sure that all of the colors are blended, taking a little bit underneath my chin. We don't want any sort of different colors on our face. Taking a little bit on my forehead, whatever's left on the beauty blender, and just blending that away as well. I'm not big into coloring in my eyebrows or anything. I generally like to leave them how they are. Whenever I do color them in, I use the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and this is in black. I got this at Target. The spoolie is actually really nice on this, and so is the color that comes out. This one's actually run out, so I need to buy a new one. But it's a really good pencil for somebody who doesn't always use a pencil or doesn't always want to fill in their brows. So now that we're done with our foundation, we're going to take a basic powder of any sort. I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me matte poreless powder, and I'm just going to take that on a fluffy Real Techniques powder brush. Just dip that into it and take it on my cheeks, underneath my chin, nose, forehead, just to make sure that our foundation doesn't slip and move around. Taking some of it underneath my chin too. Now I'm going to take my Naked Cosmetic banana powder again, and I'm just going to take a little bit and put it underneath my eyes, where we concealed, also a little bit like around my mouth. So now that we have a decent base and also our eyeshadows done, now it's really up to you guys based off of like what you want to do. If you want to this Park Avenue Princess bronzer from Tarte onto a angled brush. This is a Real Techniques contouring brush. I'm just going to take a little bit of that and, you know, put it right underneath my cheekbones, along my jawline. I'm just going to blend it out until you can't see the lines. I'm going to take a little bit more and just put it on my forehead, right here as so. And just blend that into the hairline to make sure that, you know, there's no gaps or anything going on. I contour a little bit just to like give my face like a little bit more of dimension, a little bit more of a chiseled look. Now I'm going to take my Tarte blush in this like peachy pinky color. I got it in my Sephora, like it was my birthday gift in December, so I'm just going to take a little bit on my Luxie blush brush, and it's the 514. I got this in one of my Ipsy bags. Great brush, really nice bristles, nice little pink shade on our cheeks that we're adding, and we're just going to blend that so it doesn't look like we just like patted it on one area. A little bit pinkiness to the cheeks to bring us some life. I forgot to do this in the beginning. I need to put a little bit of Vaseline on my lips to prime them, moisturize them, whatever, before by Belle palette. Onto a fan brush. This is a Real Techniques fan brush for highlighting. We're going to take a little bit of this more golden tone right here, tap off a little bit, and just put a nice highlight and bring it into the above the eyebrow a little bit so we can have a nice eyebrow highlight a little bit right here. I have a fairly heavy hand when it comes to using highlighters, so maybe, you know, don't put on as much as me. I put on a decent amount. It's pretty blinding, I would say, so I'm going to just take my damp beauty blender and just smudge some of it away and push it into the skin, just so it looks a little bit more natural. We're also going to take a little bit of that same highlighter and pop it into the inner corners of our eyes. So we're just going to put a little bit there, a little bit there. So now we're just going to finish off the mascara. We're taking our Tarte Lights Camera Lashes. This is just sample size from my Ipsy bag. We're going to put a coat of that on each eye. Since I'm just going to wet bins, I'm really not going all out on my eyelashes. Just putting a few coats just to make it look like they're there and make them stand out a little bit. I'm just going to take a little bit of my L'Oreal Voluminous Original Mascara and on the bottom lashes. Sometimes I forget to do my bottom lashes, but it's really important to do them. This is by Rimmel. This is just like their jet black pencil, and I'm going to tight line. This will make it look like you have more eyelashes than you actually do. Sometimes if my eyelashes clumped like they are a little bit today, I'm just going to take a little bit of this Physicians Formula organic wear. There's probably no mascara left on this wand. It's just a very good wand to separate your lashes with and to like just run it through to get any clumps that are on your eyelashes. We're going to put on a pretty neutral liquid lipstick. This is the Ofra liquid lipstick in pink. It's a pink shade. I got it in my Ipsy bag. I've never really tried anything